Hello everyone, welcome back to DailyPokePacks. Today we have an episode of Johto Talk. We're going to be hanging out with...
Rec cards.
Woo! Alright, so we're going to start this sort of a podcast kind of thing off. We're going to be going through introductions generally on like who we are and a little bit more about us. If you'd like to start off.
Yeah, so I am the owner, I guess, of the Rec Cards channel on YouTube and on TikTok. I just started at the beginning of 2021, posting Pokemon pack openings and also some sports breaks and just going through an old sports cards collection on there. And then I do natural pack openings on TikTok, where I just go out in nature and try and find nice places to open up Pokemon packs.
That's fun.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I do.
DailyPokePacks, I've been doing this for about 2 years now. I used to do YouTube a little bit back in the day, when back in a cheaper day. But yeah, let's jump into this. We'll start off with how we originally got into the hobby. So if you'd like to take that.
Yeah, so originally I played the video games mostly. I do remember opening up Base Set when it came out. And that's pretty much when I started originally. I was probably in elementary school at that point. And yeah, just collected up through, I think it was up to Neo, one of the Neo sets, because looking back at some of the artwork, I definitely remember seeing that artwork. Collected up through there and then kind of stopped at the end of elementary school or middle school or so. I was really big into Yu-Gi-Oh! Back then, so I collected more of that and played that game rather than playing the Pokemon TCG game. But yeah, that's how I originally got into the hobby and then got out because it wasn't seen as like a cool thing to do. Yeah, how did you get into the hobby?
So this is going to be kind of like a two-part answer. Originally, I got into the hobby because, when Pokemon came around originally for me, it was elementary school, 4th or 5th grade or something like that. And if you didn't have Pokemon cards, you weren't cool. So I pretty much had to, fit into those social norms. Get Pokemon cards, which wasn't the worst thing ever in the world, I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. I didn't really do any battling back in the day, like doing deck battles and stuff. I was mainly just collecting and having like cool cards. It was like, yeah, look, this is Charizard, it's cool. And then collected a bit of it and then ended up getting out. I can't remember at what point I stopped. I was always interested in the hobby. It's just I never really collected cards past that point until I want to say when I was in tech school. When I was in the Air Force, there was a base exchange, which is like the convenience store on base, and they had a lot of booster packs, and I'd go out and buy them every now and then, and that's when I originally started a YouTube channel, and I had it for, well, maybe like less than a year or something. Whereas like whenever my roommate would come in, I'd like rush to, like, if I was filming, to like close everything down and hide everything. It was like almost kind of a shame to be in the hobby because it wasn't really looked on the way it is these days, where it can be potentially a profession or something like that. So I originally jumped in for like my childhood. Then I was out for a while, and then I played the video games all throughout. But as far as TCG goes, when it got back to when I was in tech school, that's when I really got into it again. And then, I was collecting like EX Dragon Frontiers. What else was out there? Platinum was coming into. Platinum, I think, is Platinum Arceus a set on its own? I think it is. I believe so. I collected that as well. And Supreme Victors is one of the sets that I really collected a lot of. I'm pretty sure I completed the set as well, and I have a bunch of extra packs that I never opened, because once I completed the set, I was like, yeah, there's no need to open these up. So that's fun. But yeah, then I got out for a while, and then I just got in about 2 years ago when I was like, well, you know what? I think it'll be fun to open up like Soul Silver, open up Dragon Majesty, and like it was something to slowly dip my toes in and get back into. And then right around then, Hidden Fates was released, and then I just jumped in headfirst. XY Evolutions was out at that point, and that really helped me jump back into it because it was all that nostalgic artwork of the base set, Jungle, Fossil, like all of that. It was so nice to see it again and not have to pay $500 per pack. I mean, at this point, currently, it's pretty insane. But when I came back into the hobby, everything was relatively inexpensive and it was really nice. But now it's kind of insane. It's definitely a tough time to come back into the hobby when everything's super expensive.
Yeah, definitely. I pretty much recently got back into the hobby this past year at the end of 2020. I know we had been talking a bunch about Pokemon, and I believe we were at what we call our ghetto Walmart, and there were some Evolutions Elite Trainer boxes on the shelves, and I was just like, oh, I'll grab these and see what's in them. I think we had talked about the set and how it was base set artwork. I was just like, maybe this will get me back in. First box, I get 2 Mega Charizard EXs. The centering on them is utter trash, but just seeing the old artwork and getting those like great pulls, and I think I got an Imaniki's Doduo, or however you say it, so secret rare out of that as well. That definitely catapulted me back into the hobby, and I've been kind of collecting and opening ever since that day, and just being on the lookout, trying to find sets, trying to get into Hidden Fates, even though that's tough. But we'll talk about that a little bit later on in this podcast. But yeah, it's been fun getting back in, opening everything, getting all the new interesting cards, opening some more evolutions, and seeing all that old artwork and trying to collect that set. So
your first real pack opening was pretty good outside of getting the terrible centering. Like the print wasn't the best for XY Evolutions.
I've seen worse print for XY Evolutions where they pretty much cut into the next card. So I honestly might take that over like what I got, because then you get a complete like an error pack almost, or at least an error card out of that. And like to a lot of people, that's really cool. So that would have been nice, but yeah, it was. I kind of threw the card down when I saw it. I was just like, you gotta be kidding me. But it was really fun, and XY Evolutions is one of my favorite sets to open, even though the prices now are insane, with it being over $1,000 a booster box.
That is absolutely insane.
But luckily, they've been in some of the Galar partner tins and the Galar partner boxes, which I think this past week, which was Hidden Fates week, they had out there, and they also are in the K19 Kanto Mini tins as well.
Okay.
So that's pretty nice, and just like kind of a cheap way to be able to get them rather than going online and spending $1,000 on a booster box.
Yeah, and then when you pull that Charizard after spending $1,000, the print is like cut half sideways. You're like, oh great, cool. Yeah. This was not good.
But yeah, so that's pretty much like one of my more favorite sets to open. I just recently opened Hidden Fates, which you guys should see on my channel the week that Shining Fates launches.
Okay.
And that might be my new favorite set. Luckily, I've been able to grab a couple ETBs. We'll talk about how I got them later, just mainly through trading. But yeah, I can't wait to open those because I got some nice stuff in that pack opening, and I had my pack openings both on TikTok and just on YouTube had been pretty poor the last couple weeks. So it was nice to change that luck, and hopefully Shining Fates will add to that luck a bit more.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
What's your favorite set to open?
So I could say I have some favorite modern sets, but I want to make this as most everything I say, I want to make it into a multiple part answer. So going back to the EX time frame, One of my favorite sets back then to open was EX Team Rocket. I think it's EX Team Rocket Returns. I loved that set. It was so much fun to open. And I'm pretty sure I got a booster box back in the day for like $120, $130, which is probably insane to think about now. But I opened that up. That was a ton of fun. Heart Gold Soul Silver, the American one, I loved the artwork in that set. And I think that made it super fun to open that one. So, I mean, those are two favorites right there. Going up more currently, I'm like looking at my emptied booster boxes right now. XY Evolutions for sure is up there. Hidden Fates, because all the shinies that you can get in that. And you know what? Let's leave it at that. We'll just say I have a top 4. But XY Evolutions, I think out of all of those, is the easiest to obtain at this point. Hidden Fates is, if you find it, buy a lottery ticket. Yeah. But for favorite sets, I'd say overall, including past and like present, I would say my favorite set to open is the Soul Silver, like the Soul Silver series, like Soul Silver, the Heart Gold Soul Silver Triumphant, the Undaunted, all of them. Loved all the artwork in it. But let's go from favorite sets to open to favorite Pokemon, if you'd like to take that.
So, yeah, I guess I'll take yours and do it in a multi-part. Since I have a top 3 that they're pretty much 1A, 1B, 1C, essentially. I'll start off with the fan favorite, and that's my legendary pick, and that's Lugia.
That's a good choice.
Back in the day, I played a ton of Silver and Crystal, and yeah, Lugia was the best. And I just love how he looks, love the movie and everything. Or I guess love how she looks, because it's technically supposed to be a female, but I guess they gave him a male voice in the movie. Yeah, we'd watched something recently on that. So I guess how she looks, or I don't even think it has a gender. And
no, they took
it's genderless.
They took the sex out later.
Yeah, so how it looks, I guess. But yeah, just love that card. Was able to get a Japanese Neo Genesis PSA 9 recently.
Oof, that's a score.
Yeah, very, very nice. Essentially, if I got that as a first edition, how much I paid for, I would probably be able to get like a 6. So I'll take the 9. My second, or 1B, is Lapras.
Lapras is another good pick.
Yeah, another probably pretty strong fan favorite. I mean, it's the sprite that they used early on when you were surfing. It was so OP back in the early games, and you essentially could only get one of them, and I just loved it. Loved Ash's Lapras, and his relationship with it was just like, I don't know, inspiring. I don't know, when I was younger, so yeah, just love that Pokemon. And then my out of left field pick is a mid-tier evolution, and that would be Bayleaf.
Yeah, that's definitely an odd one for favorites. But I mean, I guess you can't really like just decide on favorites. It just kind of happens.
Yeah, pretty much. And playing Silver and Crystal, I would occasionally I'd choose Cyndaquil, so then I can get a Typhlosion with Thunder Punch and just be able to destroy that game that way. But I would usually choose Chikorita, and you just spend so much time with that mid-tier evolution of your starter that, I don't know, I just always loved Bayleaf, loved how it looked, and yeah, in the anime as well, just loved it. So your listeners, or your watchers, probably know your favorites pretty easily.
Yeah, if they've seen just about any of my backgrounds for my videos, you've probably seen one of them, if not 4. My favorite Pokemon is Houndoom. The whole evolutionary lineup, so the Houndour, the Houndoom, love them. Just my favorite. And if I go to pick like a top 3, I'll go with legendary. Favorite legendary would be Raikou. definitely Raikou for sure. It's kind of like a common theme. They're all Johto Pokemon, and Johto's really my favorite region because two regions in one game. No big deal. Pokemon, if you're listening. But yeah, my favorite Pokemon, Houndoom. Love it. It's cool. It's dark type. It's fire type. It looks awesome. It's a very powerful Pokemon. Usually the bad guys have it, which I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world. There's got to be a reason why they're using it. But but yeah, no, love Houndoom, and I have a ton of random Houndoom cards and Houndour cards, and love it. But going over to other interests that we have, so like for example, anime, video games, other trading card series, or brands and stuff. What you watch any anime or anything?
Not really too much anime. Pretty much the only thing I watch is Pokemon in terms of anime. It's not really much out on that part. Video games is Pokemon Go. I recently picked up Pokemon Shield and decided to do a Nuzlocke on my first run through of it. So it's been interesting. I just lost my first Pokemon, which was a Pikachu.
Rest in peace.
And yeah, if you guys don't know what a Nuzlocke is, essentially you get one Pokemon per route, and it's your first encounter. That's the only Pokemon you can catch. And if a Pokemon faints in battle, it essentially dies, and you have to release it right after. So you got to be very careful. And also, you have to name all of your Pokemon, so you're supposed to get more attached to them. I feel like the only Pokemon I'm super attached to is my starter, which is called Harambe, and he's a Thwacky right now, so he's got to get to that Rillaboom, and as long as I don't face the Cincinnati Zoo, I think I'll be okay, and he should live, but we'll see how that goes. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm playing in video games. Otherwise, I like to play sports video games, but I only have an Xbox 360, which is perfectly fine with me because I can just play a ton of college football on there, which apparently they're coming out with a new one, but it's EA, so they're probably going to screw it up somehow. Then in terms of cards, so I used to collect Yu-Gi-Oh! A lot. Haven't gotten back into it because I just don't play the game anymore, and I don't really know if they're that collectible. But I do open and collect sports cards. If you've ever seen my channel, I've been going through my dad's old sports cards collection every Monday on the channel, and then I do breaks of new stuff. Mostly it's been NBA hoops, Panini football, and then Topps baseball so far. And hopefully I'll find some hockey pretty soon. I remember that was essentially the only sports cards that were out for a while that you could actually find in stores. It's been more ridiculous than Pokemon, believe it or not. But yeah, hopefully I'll be able to get some recent hockey sets in pretty soon. But yeah, what about you?
I mean, first off, it seems like you're into a ton of different like cards and stuff, like so like all the sports stuff. There's just a ton of different kind of things.
Yeah.
But for me, let's say anime. I have a few animes that I really like. Love my Rurouni Kenshin, Samurai X whole series that they had. Got into Samurai Champloo for a little bit. Pokemon all the way through. I think I watched all the way to the Johto Adventures and then stopped for a little bit. And then I watched like an episode here and there. I was like, oh, that kind of looks dumb. And then recently picked it back up when it became available on Netflix to watch the Sun and Moon series in Alola. So I watched all the way through that, and then now I'm on Journeys, which is the newest current one, and I'm having a great time with that. Ash is actually finally winning, and he has a Dragonite. Somehow he just comes out with a Dragonite. Yeah. All the time he's like, "Go Pikachu, you can win!" And then he's like, "Nah, I got a Dragonite now. Like, let's actually play the game." But as far as anime goes, love Pokemon. Back in the day, I watched like a little bit of Yu-Gi-Oh! I thought it was cool, and that was about it. It was kind of like a fad. It just ended really quickly. Other anime, I really like Sword Art Online. That was fantastic. It was one of the best, well done anime, like plot and like everything was just fantastic. There's a few other big ones that I just can't think of right now, but that's pretty much it. Video games, it's been pretty much Pokemon the entire way through. I didn't like Black and White or Black and White 2. I didn't really like that. And I didn't play the Sun and Moon games, which I thought was kind of dumb. Uh, I mean, at some point I'm probably gonna go back and play it, but
Yeah,
I just
Papio.
yeah, I wasn't feeling it.
Yeah.
Uh,
I feel like Sun and Moon is the one where I was like really making fun of Pokemon. At that point, I was just like, what the heck are these things?
yeah, no, I just wasn't into the Sun and Moon video game. Other video games. When I was young, I played a lot of Time Splitters, or at least Time Splitters 2. I played that game to 100% completion. Every bit of that game I completed, and I spent way too much time in that. But going into other games, I played Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. That's when I really got into like first-person shooters for a bit, and I went through and played the entire Modern Warfare series. I played Black Ops. I was like, oh, this is fun. And then Black Ops 2 came out. And I was like, oh, I can't wait to play this. This is going to be awesome. I hope it's like the first one. And then it wasn't. And I got disappointed and didn't play Black Ops 2. And then I think Infinity War came out and all the future Call of Duties. And I was like, nah, fuck this. I don't want that. It's kind of dumb. So I got out of that and started playing Battlefield. Came into Battlefield 3 and 4, and those were like $5 at GameStop used. And I was like, all right, let's try this out. And I was like, oh my god, there's 64 people in here. This is sweet. You get a real size map where you can actually run around and not even see a person like around the outside of the map. It's really, really cool. But I really liked Battlefield. Played that for a while until I think they were coming out with Battlefield 1 at that point, and everyone jumped on that hype train, and I was not impressed by it. So I didn't jump into I stopped playing Battlefield after that. And then I jumped into the Far Cry series, Far Cry 3 and 4. Same game, different skin. But loved it. Those games were so much fun. And then I played Ark, and that's where I kind of stopped playing other console video games. I just got sucked into Ark. I got into every bit of that game, like into the taming the highest level dinos, and then going in and like trying to breed out the best traits, and like it was just, I got super into it, and I spent a stupid amount of hours on that game. It was almost insane. But ever since Pokemon Go was released, the first night I said I wasn't gonna play the game. I thought it was stupid. I didn't want to play a phone game. It was like, nah, maybe I'll just check it out. I downloaded it, played it, and 6 hours later, I was wandering around a golf course at 11 o'clock at night trying to find a Kabutops. And I have been playing ever since. Currently, I'm a level 47, a couple weeks away from hitting 48. And I've just been very happy playing that game. Outside of spoofers, they kind of make it suck. Their anti-cheat is non-existent. But video games, that's pretty much it. Currently, it's just Pokemon Go at this point. And then cards, I mean, I opened like one Yu-Gi-Oh! Tin back in the day. Didn't really collect them, just kind of gave them away to someone else. I wasn't really interested in it. It's pretty much just been Pokemon cards. But yeah, I think that's enough of an introduction for both of us. You kind of got a little bit of our background. And I guess we can go into some future topics of what we want this podcast to be. So if you want to take it from there.
So the main thing will be to discuss news going on with the Pokemon TCG, guess we can also talk about Pokemon Go news if people are interested.
Oh, hell yeah.
We both play and all that stuff and how it's kind of ridiculous. I think all the communities now are already released shinies.
Yep.
Which, yeah.
I'm kind of disappointed about that.
That's disappointing, but
yeah.
Well, we can talk about that at a different point. We will also explore our interest in Pokemon, just talking about what cards we want to find, what sets we want to go back and like complete, or future sets that we want to buy. And for those future sets, we will go over set lists, talk about all the cards that we want from the set, how good we think the set's going to be, where they may have missed in some spots that we feel they've done, and also we'll look at what we want to see from the Pokemon Company with, for example, the 25th anniversary set.
Excited.
Will it be a reprint of like Team Rocket, Neo? We'll see how it's going to be. I mean, XY Evolutions for the 20th anniversary has been a huge hit. I mean, it was down for a while, but this is probably going to be a very crazy year for Pokemon.
Oh, for sure, 100%.
So it'll be interesting to see what goes down. We'll also talk about collecting and recent trends we've seen. I know a couple weeks ago, I think it was Twice Baked Jake put out a video talking about full art trainers, and then kind of just that shot up. I mean, it was already on the rise, but it really shot up after that. So we'll look at maybe what are good investments in the future, just in terms of cards and sets. So yeah, we'll also maybe give some investing advice, even though we are not in like legit investors. So it's just out there. If you want to follow it, you can follow it. If you don't have the money to put into the Pokemon universe, then just don't do it. Make sure you get yourself in check first.
Yeah.
And this is all like fun money.
Yeah, this is definitely money that we are using to enjoy. We have financially wise, we're stable at this, so we don't have to worry about like, oh, am I gonna have food or should I have a booster box?
Yeah.
It's definitely keep yourself safe and healthy before you start dumping a ton of money into this hobby, because it is very easy to dump a ton of money into this hobby. I don't really want to think about how much money I've spent in this. It would hurt to think about it. But yeah, I think that'd be a lot of fun to do.
Yeah, definitely. And just like we're probably going to be wrong in some spots, so do collect what you want to collect. You can like listen to what we have to say about stuff, but in the end, collect what you are going to want to collect. If you have cards, grade what you want to get graded and that you want to also keep. It's not necessarily something that's going to make you a ton of money, but if it feels special to you, you should do that.
Yeah, like my Houndooms, I have a ton of like common PSA graded cards. They're all Houndour, and like I love them. I don't want to sell them or anything, but it makes me happy, and I like that.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess that's pretty much what we want this podcast to be. Also, as our audience grows, if you guys have any questions for us about what's going on in the Pokemon universe, definitely submit those, and we'll do our best and potentially have just like a viewer question segment at the end or middle. Wherever we'll fit it into the podcast, we'll definitely fit it in.
Yeah, I think it'll be a lot of fun to have some engagement and kind of go back and forth with what people like, what other people outside of just us have to say. I think it'd be pretty fun to have that back and forth.